Right, today we're going to reflect on SD 47.11. The chapter today is entitled Uttiya and Friends, teachings related to the monks named Uttiya. So this is actually a set of a collection of teachings. Today's reflection is interesting because we're not going to look at the suttas as we usually do, although there is one sutta which should be mentioned in passing. We're going to look at a few short Thera-gathas, elders' verses, and a couple of Apadhanas. These are stories of past lives of the elders. Now, the name of all of these monks here, they have a common name, Uttiya. However, they live in different places in the Holy Land, if you like, in northern central India, the central Gangetic Plain. I've named them Uttiya 1, 2, 3, 4. Uttiya 1 is the best known of this the group here, and he's from Savatthi, and we have quite a number of suttas to his name, but today we look at only one of the suttas which brought him awakening, which is called the Arahata Uttiya Sutta S 47.16. This sutta is very similar to the one that I've spoken to you last time, that is on the Satipatthana Bahya Sutta. So I won't be going through into it because you can always listen to the talk on Bahya. Basically, the sutta, this one Uttiya sees the Buddha, takes leave of the Buddha and asks for a short teaching, and the Buddha gives this well-known formula on the 4 focuses of mindfulness. Here again, the Buddha tells Uttiya, purify the very beginning of wholesome states. And then the Buddha gives what's called the fundamental Satipatthana, that is to contemplate on the body in the body, feelings in feelings, the mind in the mind, dharmas in the dharmas, and to remove covetousness and displeasure in the world, and that's about it. There's nothing more there. So this is the original, the short phrasing, short definition of the Satipatthana. So this is a very ancient formula. And then later on, this Uttiya becomes an Arahat, and that's all we have in this sutta. So this sutta, SD number is 47.11, brackets 12. So I will go on to tell you about the other Uttiyas, together with Uttiya number 1, of course, and to examine another genre, which is the Thera-gatha, and also the Apadhana. Now let me first tell you about the other 3 Uttiyas. Then we have Uttiya number 2. He's from Pawa. Pawa, if you remember, it's the place where the Buddha passed away. It's near where the Buddha spent the last days. And then Uttiya number 1, of course, from Savatthi. Uttiya number 2 is from Pawa. Uttiya 3 is from Kapilavatthu. Uttiya 4 also from Kapilavatthu. Now all these Uttiyas, 1, 2, 3, they are monks. Only number 4 is a layman. He's a house lord, and it's only mentioned in the Kathavattu. It's not mentioned elsewhere. Of course, there could be some overlapping, but basically it is how we know them. Now, let's look at the Thera-gatha of the first Uttiya. Uttiya Thera-gatha 1. This is THA 30. Alright, this is recorded as SD 47.11 brackets 3. Whenever you see this kind of numbering with the brackets, they are close together and they're joined together, it means it is an embedded translation. It's found usually in the introduction of to the sutta. So this is Theragatha number 30 of the Elder Uttiya number 1. Abadame samupane satime udapachata abadome samupano kalome napamajitunti. When illness strikes me, mindfulness arises in me too. Illness is arising in me, it is time for me to be heedful. Right? So this is very simple, very beautiful advice. The Theragatha, as we know, are verses of the elders, and they show they're usually inspirational words spoken by these monks during the awakening, to mark the awakening, and very often they might also tell us a bit about the events leading up to the awakening. So this gives us a very interesting insight into the lives and the spiritual struggles of the early monks, and of course the early nuns also. There is a Theragatha too. So this verse 30, Theragatha 30, shows that even when we are sick, we should be mindful, we can meditate, and in many ways that helps us to suffer less. The body suffers, but the mind may not suffer. Okay? So this is a beautiful reflection too. Remember, when illness strikes me, mindfulness arises in me too. Illness is arising in me, it is time for me to be heedful. Heedful, not to be heedless. The Pali is napamajitum, not to be heedless, not to be careless, right? So to be diligent and to practice, for example, practice breath, loving kindness, watch the feelings and pains in the body. Right? We further have this story of the past life of this elder Uttiya, and this is called the Uttiya Thera Apadana. This is from AP 3.8, and this is recorded as SD 47.11 brackets 10. Now let me just say a few words about Apadana. Apadana it's a collection of pious stories. They're very late collection in canonical terms. They're very much, the style is very much like the Jatakas. Some of the stories are quite fabulous, and I think we should take them in a mythical sense. In other words, they are stories which represent certain deeper aspects in us. In other words, how through our practice we can certain practices that can help us to further our spiritual practices. So this Apadana often talks about these Theras, these elders in their past lives. They did some very simple offerings, some kind of sacrifices. Okay, so and some are a bit, of course, as I said, a bit of like a Jataka stories, as in the case of this Uttiya Theragatha, who first met a Buddha while he was a crocodile. So in other words, this kind of story is useful for us to tell children in a Sunday school. Right? We can say, okay, this elder was a crocodile before, and what's interesting is it helps them to relate to animals with kindness. So the next time they see a crocodile in the zoo, they'll say, oh, it reminds me of the elder Uttiya, something like that. Okay? And of course, as we mature, as we understand the Dhamma better, then we know such stories, the meaning of such stories have to be teased out. Right? It is what's called neyata. the meaning must be teased up. What does it mean? What is it trying to tell us? Of course, we don't have to take the stories literally. It's quite difficult for people to accept such stories literally today. The point is, the stories always have some value behind them, and we've got to see what the value is. Okay, let me just read to you the translation. This tells you about the story of the past life of the elder Uttiya. Upadana we can translate as the harvest of acts. Here, harvest meaning the ripening of good karma, which was done in the past by these elders, which brought them to meet the Buddha, and then from there they awakened to their own efforts. Okay, Upadana, the verse numbers are 169 to 179. Okay, I got the reference, traditional reference from the Khuddaka Nikaya, Thera Upadana, chapter 3, Subhuti Vagga 8, verses 169 to 179, so 10 verses. On the bank of the river Chandabhaga, I was then a crocodile. With my own hunting ground, I went to a ford. At that time, Siddhartha, a self-born, foremost individual wishing to cross the river, reached the river ford. Okay, here is a Siddhartha Buddha, and this is a Buddha of the past, not our Siddhartha. It's a long time ago. Okay? When the self-awakened reached there, I too went to that place. Going up to the self-awakened one, I uttered these words. So here, as I said, we have this Jatakatonya, we have this crocodile talking to the Buddha. Of course, we can interpret this as the Buddha is a mind reader, is able to understand the language of animals, if you like. So the crocodile says, "Mount on my back, great hero, I will ferry you across. Tell me the destiny of my father, out of compassion, great sage." Hearing my loud requests, the great sage climbed onto my back. Joyful with joyful mind, I ferried the world leader across the river to the far side. The world leader Siddhartha, he reassured me that he would attain the death-free. Falling from that body, I went to the Deva world and enjoyed divine happiness surrounded by celestial nymphs. 7 times was I Lord of the Devas, kingship I held over the Devas. Thrice was I a wheel turner, supreme over the earth. Then I was devoted to solitude, wise and well restrained, bearing my last body in the teaching of the fully self-awakened one. 94 years it was from the time when I ferried the lordly wool of men. Since then I knew no suffering state. This is the fruit of that ferrying. So from this story, we are told, this story tells us how, when he met Buddha Siddhartha, 94 world cycles ago. Then it talks about the kind of arahat that he has become. The 4 analytic knowledges, the 8 liberations too, and the 6 direct knowledges I realize, done is the Buddha's teaching. The parable of Uttiya uttered these verses, such indeed. Okay? So there we have this past story of Uttiya. The Uttiya number 1, if you like. Okay? Now then we have the second Uttiya. Uttiya number 2 is from Pawa. Pawa is at somewhere south of Kapilavatthu. And this second Uttiya, he has 3 other friends. The friends' name are Godika, Subbahu, and Valiya. So they practice together, so they have very similar Theragatha. And their Theragatha are placed one after the other. From Theragatha 51 is the Godika's Theragatha. Theragatha 52 is Subbahu Theragatha. THA 53 is Valiya Theragatha. And THA 54 is Uttiya Theragatha 2. Right, so this is Uttiya 2. The verses are very similar, only one line, the third line is different, and they are very simple, very beautiful. Let me read to you Godika, the Godika Theragatha. Vasati devo yata sugitang channa me kutika sukha nivata chitang susama hitan cha maihang atacha patayasi pavasa devati. The rain falls like sweet music. My little hut is covered, cozy, without rain. And my mind is well still or well concentrated. Therefore rain, rain if you wish. Theragatha 51. Of course, this verse reminds us of the verses of in Sutta Nipata. Right? We have also the set of verses on rain. Okay? So just I've forgotten the name of that person. Daniya, yes, Daniya Sutta. It is one of the earlier suttas, where almost every verse there is this verse, rain, therefore rain if you wish. And this Daniya is celebrating his worldly happiness, and apparently the Buddha appears there, but it's not seen, at first not seen by Daniya. And the Buddha replies verse by verse, and the counterpoint start. The Buddha says, I'm happy too, but for spiritual reasons, so rain, therefore rain if you wish. So here we can see this monk meditating in his forest hut, and it's raining, but he's quite untroubled by the rain does not trouble him. That is the worldly aspect, this feeling of happiness, of safety, despite the rain all around. But on a higher level, on a spiritual level, it shows this, the monk is an arhat, and so he's untroubled by the world, so the rains of suffering do not fall on him. So you can easily see he uses simple words relating to nature around him to show his inner happiness. And then Subahu, the elder Subahu, says a similar verse, THA 52. Vasati devo yata sugitang channame kutika sukha nivata chittang susammahitan chakaye attache patayasi pavasa devati. The rain falls like sweet music. My little hut is covered, cozy, without rain, and my mind is well concentrated on my body. Therefore rain, rain if you wish. Right? So the third line is different. He says, I'm well focused, my body is doing body-based meditation. Body-based meditation is a very important set of practices in early Buddhism. We have a few names for it. For example, in the Satipatthana Sutta, of course, it's called Kaya Nupassana. And then in another famous sutta, it's called Kaya Gata Sati. They refer to the same set of practices, body-based meditation. So this is what Subahu is doing while it is raining. And of course, when it rains, it can be quite fun to meditate if you are in a covered area. Now the next Theragatha, THA 53, is that of Waliya. Waliya Theragatha, the elder Waliya. Vasati devo yata sugitang channa me kutika sukani vata tassang viharang appamato hatache patayasi pavasa devati. The rain falls like music. My little hut is covered, cozy, without rain. Therein I live diligently. Therefore rain, rain if you wish. Okay, therein I live diligently. Right? So there is this rain all around, this noise all around, but here I am sitting in this safe place, diligent. Right? So diligence, appamada, is another key word in Buddhism. It is one of those ekadhammas, one of the very important terms. It covers the whole of Buddhist practice, if you like, diligence. Right here it includes all the three trainings, sila, samadhi, panya, and also effort into your meditation. So here we see the elders celebrating their peace in different ways to inspire us. in a sense, they're communicating to us. Then we have the fourth Theragatha, that of Uttiya number 2. This is Theragatha 54, of Uttiya 2. Vasati devo yata sugitam channame kutika sukhanivata tassang viharami adutiyo atache patayasi pavasadevati. The rain falls like sweet music. My little hut is covered, cozy without rain. Therein I dwell without a partner. Therefore rain, rain if you wish. And here it's typical of an arahat, living alone by himself. So adutiyo is a very common term in Stanipata, showing that the renunciant lives by himself to practice and to realize awakening by himself. So this is the play on the word one, eka. There comes a time in our life where we need to, even in our daily life, we spend time with ourselves, like just to be at peace with ourselves, to know ourselves better. So this is the meaning here for lay people. Of course, for an arahat, he's happy by himself. He doesn't need a second. He doesn't need any kind of partner. So he's very happy to that kind of practice. So the oneness here is also a play on word on the oneness of his mind. He is unified in every way. He's at peace with everything in that sense. So in other words, this is the full, beautiful, joyful fruit of renunciation. That he is all alone and happy in his hut, meditating. Of course, here we should not misunderstand here just because it's alone is saying that it's bad to people. We should not be communicating with others. It's far from the truth. Okay, the meaning here is that there comes a very vital time we need to know ourselves. Then there is the sangha, the community of the saints. They live together and they're happy, they're friendly to each other. So when they do meet each other, they look at each other in the eyes and mix like milk and water. We look at some of these beautiful teachings, like it's recorded in a Dhammacettiya Sutta. So we have this time for ourselves and we have time for others. In other words. Now we come to Uttiya number 3 of Kapilavatthu, and he also has a Theragatha, THA 99. His verse is different. He says, Saddang Suttva Sati Mutta Piyang Nimitang Manasikarato Sarata Chitto Vedeti Tancha Ajosa Tittati Tassa Vadanti Asava Sansarang Upagaminoti. Hearing a sound, his mind is confused, who attends to a pleasant sign. With lust the mind senses and remains attached to it. His influxes grow. He continues in samsara. So here is where Uttiya reminds us not to get caught up with the world, in other words, all the defilements that make us be pulled by the flow, by the currents of the world. So we have to rise above the world, so to speak, in order to be kind to the world. Okay, now if we look at Uttiya number 3, his Apadana. It's entitled Palanka Dayaka Thera Apadana. SD 47.11, brackets 11. The Hava story of the elder couch giver. And so here, sometimes in the Apadana, the name is not given. It's described. The title describes the person. So here, the title is couch giver. And from that verse, from the commentaries, somehow we know it is Uttiya, in this case Uttiya number 3. This is from AP 15.10. The translation says, to the Blessed One, Sumedha, the world's elder, such as he, was given a couch by me along with a top cover. So here we have the Buddha Sumedha, and then this person, this elder, Uttiya number 3. This was his first connection, as it were, with the Buddha of the past. Notice in this case, Uttiya number 3 doesn't become another Buddha. He simply emits our Buddha in our time and becomes an Arhat. Endowed with 7 jewels was that couch, such was it. He knew our thoughts or our intention whenever it arose in me. 30,000 years ago, I gave such a couch. I knew no suffering state on account of the fruit of giving this couch. Right? So, no suffering meaning it did not fall into the 4 lower, the subhuman worlds. 20,000 years ago was I thrice as Suvarnabha or golden light, possessing the 7 jewels, a wheel turner, a world monarch of great power. The 4 analytic knowledges and the 8 liberations too, and the 6 direct knowledges I realize. Done is the Buddha's teaching for me. The Venerable Elder Uttiya uttered these verses, such indeed. So here again we see this the monk, how his spiritual life goes back a long time, many cycles ago. He meets a Buddha and makes a simple offering, a couch, or he helps the Buddha. In the case of Uttiya 1, he helps the Buddha to cross the river, right? That's the donation of transportation, if you like. And then here, in this case of Uttiya 3, we have someone just offering something very simple, a cushion to meditate on. So these are simple gifts which bring great merit to these elders, because in their last life they are reborn in the Buddha's time and they become arhats. So such stories remind us to do simple acts of kindness with a true mind of faith and aspiring to awakening in some way. So as we listen to these teachings today, or anytime we listen to sutta, after some meditation, after doing some good act, we should aspire to attain at least true meaning in this life. Don't seem to have any record of any verses of Uttiya 4, except Katavatu. The Katavatu says, now if, so this is more of a discussion, and the record in the Katavatu says, now if my proposition were wrong, how is it that Yasa, the son of family, Uttiya, the house lord, Setu, the Brahmin youth, attain Arhathood along with the mark of laity, right? So here, this for the record we have this. It says Uttiya, the house lord, becoming a layman, becoming an Arhat. Okay, so this is more a discussion on layman Arhats. So this Uttiya number 4 could overlap with any one of the other 3 if they become Arhats as a lay person. Or he could be a lay person in his own right and become an Arhat. So here we are. We have completed a short reflection on this Uttiya, and then the Theragatha inspires us by the simplicity of words and of nature, especially. We often see these elders like Mahakashyapa will talk about the rocks in the mountains, the trees, and even the moss-covered plants. Right? And the nuns also will sing of beautiful nature, especially the Subha Therigatha, for example. We have a complete Therigatha translated and commented on in the SD series. So, in other words, becoming a renunciant, becoming an Arhat, is a very happy thing. It is to be with nature and at peace with everyone. And these are verses. They're regarded as suttas, but they are verses So when we read them, we feel basically the joy of these great elders, nuns, and monks and nuns of early Buddhism. And also underlying all this joy is the wisdom that they have realized. So remember to spend time to reflect on these very simple, very beautiful teachings of early Buddhism, so that we can at least have an idea of the joy and the peace and wisdom of the Buddha and his early saints. Having listened to some of these very inspiring stories, let us remember that the Buddha's teaching is still with us, and to find some time to spend with ourselves, with these suttas, to recollect how we can see inner peace within ourselves in a very simple way, very effective way, very joyful and liberating way. Reflecting in these ways, wonderful good karma, by the power of such karma and the power of the three jewels, may we be blessed with courage and wisdom to aspire to attain at least dream winning in this life. By the same token, by all these good deeds we have done, let us send out our loving kindness to all those who have been kind to us, those who have helped us in any way, and our loved ones. May they be well, may they be happy. And also let us send out our loving kindness to all those who are seeking the truth, seeking inner peace. May they too see the Dharma in this life itself and be liberated. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.